Oh yeah, like I said, we're coming more on this ICE agent. Yeah, Jonathon Ross, that unalive Renee, Nicole Good. There's some more clips about that, but I found this one actually. Renee's Good's wife speaks out. This is good stuff. Here we go.
Protests in Portland, outrage growing from coast to coast in the aftermath of two shootings at the hands of federal agents. In Minneapolis, residents still mobilizing after an ICE officer shot and killed a 37-year-old mother. Videos from Wednesday capturing the moment the agent shot Renee Nicole Good right there in her car. Her wife now speaking out in a statement, remembering the mom of three as someone who was pure love, pure joy, and pure sunshine. The FBI saying it's investigating, but Minnesota officials say the Trump administration is blocking them from the case. And with that scene still so fresh, another shooting by federal immigration officials, this time in Portland. A DHS spokesperson saying two people they claim are affiliated with the Tren de Aragua gang were shot during a vehicle search last night when the driver, quote, attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. Let's bring in our Armando Garcia. He's there on the scene in Minneapolis. Also, our Alex Stone is tracking things out of Portland for us. Armando, DHS now sending in more officers to Minneapolis. What are you seeing today, and are the protests still growing?
Well, I'm here at the vigil. This is just a few feet away from where Renee Good was fatally shot. And as you can see behind me, there's a growing crowd behind me for sure. We just had a little bit of a situation here just a few minutes ago when a police officer came and asked a couple of the protesters that were spilling over, as a couple of the mourners who were here paying their respects to Renee Good, asked them to move from the lane here. This is a very busy avenue. This is Portland Avenue. And as you can see behind me as well, it's very icy out here. There's not a lot of space for people to come and congregate and pay their respects. So they had asked them to move off the streets, and then the rest of the crowd did not like that. So one of the chants that I heard here, one of the things that was yelled at one of the officers is that it's not a good look for the police department that killed George Floyd. We're just half a mile away from where that happened, a former police officer killing George Floyd just a few years ago. So this is a city that's got a lot of history in protesting against law enforcement, and that's just what we're seeing today.
Alex, let's talk about officials and what they're saying about the shooting in Portland and how it all unfolded.
Yeah, so Kara, the FBI leading the investigation in Portland as well, like in Minneapolis. But the DHS saying that the two who were shot are Venezuelan gangs who are in the country illegally, and they were the target of nation, unlike in Minneapolis. And the DHS saying both have criminal records. So they are investigating right now. The FBI is investigating. The DHS saying that the vehicle had been weaponized, as they put it, in Portland, like in Minneapolis, but a different scene in who they were going after. And Portland police saying that they're calling for calm. It's not their case. The FBI is investigating, and it's underway right now.
Armando, Alex, thank
you. From the fatal shooting of a woman in Minneapolis on Wednesday. The video is from the ICE agent's perspective. ICE agent Jonathon Ross's cell phone camera shows the moments leading up to when he shot Renee Good. At the start, you can see Ross in front of the stopped vehicle. 3 gunshots are heard, though the shooting is not seen on the video. In an alert, this video may be disturbing for some to view.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. What you can't tell from the video is if the vehicle actually strikes Ross. Vice President J.D. Vance shared the video on social media, saying it proves that Ross's life was endangered and that he fired in self-defense. Elected officials in Minnesota are calling for transparency in the investigation of the shooting. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty on Friday asked for members of the public to send any video or other evidence in the fatal shooting to her office. Now, Moriarty said that although her office has collaborated effectively with the FBI in past cases, the Trump administration's decision to keep the investigation into Wednesday's killing in federal hands concerns her.
Our ask is to include the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in this process because we in Minneapolis want a fair investigation.
This community expects to understand what the evidence is and the justification for any decision that might be made. To that end, I cannot overstate the importance of a local investigation, or at least access to the federal investigation by the BCA. Without it, we will not have the ability to be transparent with our community about the results of the expectation, or, as I said, any decision that might come of the review.
Do you believe that the FBI should be sharing evidence with state officials in Minnesota?
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials. I mean, Minneapolis and Minnesota, what a beautiful place, but this being destroyed, it's got an incompetent governor fool. I mean, he's a stupid person.
The Minnesota BCA released a statement late this afternoon clarifying that they are not conducting a use of force incident investigation. The BCA says it will provide limited assistance to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with the collection, cataloging, and preservation of video or other evidence related to the incident, with the goal being to preserve evidence so that it is not lost. The BCA says it will also provide this evidence to the FBI as they are leading the investigation of the incident. Officials say the BCA remains open to conducting a full investigation of the incident should the U.S. Attorney's Office and FBI reconsider their approach.
Lakeland News is a
Minneapolis, cell phone video taken by the agent who shot the unarmed woman in the car, Renee Nicole Good.
Now, we are about to play the full version of the video released, and we do want to warn you, some may find it disturbing.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
That video, once again, recorded by the ICE agent who shot and killed Good. The Trump administration claims it proves the agent was acting in self-defense, but others say it raises more concerns about the decision to use deadly force. Fox's Asher Red is in Minneapolis.
Fox has obtained the cell phone video by the officer who shot Renee Nicole Good. This as protests continued coast to coast Friday, 2 days after the deadly shooting. The 37-year-old mother was killed by an ICE officer shortly after dropping her 6-year-old off at school, sparking outrage nationwide.
That violent act did not happen in a vacuum. It happened in a political moment where ICE has been emboldened, shielded from accountability, and unleashed on our communities with impunity.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey pleading for the ongoing investigation to be transparent after the Trump administration denied state and local officials access to the probe.
This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them.
This as the Department of Homeland Security announced ICE agents have seen an unprecedented increase in vehicular attacks, up a whopping 3,200% over the past year. The Trump administration pointing to the numbers as evidence the ICE agent was acting in self-defense.
If you're that agent, you're at the hood of that car, you don't know who's inside, you don't know what their intentions are, you know that other ICE agents had been rammed or attempted to be rammed before, you did the only thing you can do in that situation. So again, the result was awful, but it was certainly legal.
And although the FBI is leading this investigation, Minneapolis officials are encouraging the public to turn over any evidence that may be relevant, particularly videos. In Minneapolis, Asher Red, Fox News.
The ICE agent who pulled the trigger, showing the deadly confrontation from his perspective. ABC's Alex Stone has the new information.
Tonight, seen for the first time, the perspective of ICE agent Jonathon Ross, moments before he opened fire in Minneapolis. Then the shots were fired. This newly obtained video recorded by Ross himself. You can see his reflection in the window as he held up his cell phone. You can hear Renee Good seconds before she was shot and killed.
It's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
Good's wife, Becca, recording the agent. Ross is seen in his own video walking around the vehicle and then to the front of it. Another agent tells Renee Good to get out of the car and tries to open the car door. Good turns the wheel, reverses a bit, and then as she begins to move forward, Ross, who stays on his feet, opens fire. Vice President J.D. Vance responding to the video on X, saying the reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. ABC's Whit Johnson asking Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry about the new video.
He walked away with a hop in his step from the incident. There's another person that's dead. He held on his cell phone. I think that speaks for itself.
And tonight, the FBI is refusing to share evidence with Minnesota officials who are launching their own investigation into the shooting. Protests erupting in Minneapolis, crowds sparring with federal agents. Protests also seen in Portland, Oregon, after two alleged Venezuelan gang members were shot by Border Patrol agents. Tonight, the two are in stable condition. Portland's police chief calling for calm this weekend. In Portland now, the mayor and members of the city council are demanding federal agents leave the city and an ongoing immigration operation be canceled, like in Minneapolis.
Right now on News 19 at 11, we are diving into more details of newly obtained cell phone video taken by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency involved in the deadly shooting of Renee Nicole Good over Minneapolis. It reportedly shows a different angle of that encounter in the moments leading up to Wednesday's deadly shooting. As the FBI investigation gets underway, protests and vigils were also held across the city. We have the very latest tonight from Minneapolis.
Newly released cell phone video obtained by CBS News appears to show the ICE agent's point of view and what are likely Renee Good's last words.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
That's Good inside the SUV and her wife outside the vehicle talking to the ICE officer before the shooting.
Get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car.
Another officer orders Good out of the SUV and she starts to drive. On Friday, Minnesota prosecutor Mary Moriarty asked the public for any video or other evidence in the fatal shooting.
We are concerned that the evidence obtained in an investigation that has only been conducted at the federal level will not be shared with our office for review.
CBS News has confirmed the agent who shot Good is Jonathon Ross, who has worked with ICE in Minnesota for nearly a decade and was involved in another vehicle-related incident last June. Court documents show he was dragged approximately 100 yards with his arm inside a car while trying to execute an immigration warrant. As the investigation continues, protests and vigils for Good were held across the region. Community and faith leaders gathered at the Minnesota State Capitol.
We deserve to feel safe. This is not a political statement. That is a basic human right.
Students attending Minneapolis public schools were not in class Friday, and the school district is now offering families remote learning through mid-February.
We keep us safe. ICE out of our schools, ICE out of Minneapolis, ICE out of Minnesota.
A memorial of flowers and candles continues to grow at the scene of Good's death. Erin Hassanzadeh, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Here's what most people don't realize.
ICE protest, this time outside the West Side Market. Our Amaya Ward was there covering that event and joined us now from the newsroom with details. Amaya, good evening.
Good evening, Russ. This is the second night in a row people have gathered in Cleveland, and organizers say that's intentional. They don't want the attention or the pressure to fade. Candles, chants, and a familiar message. Don't let this fade. protesters returned to the streets Friday night, gathering outside the West Side Market for a candlelight vigil and a march.
Because of the tragic loss of life of Renee Nicole Good, and our feeling that we wanted to be in solidarity with Minneapolis and Renee's family and community and show them we want ICE out, and we want to make sure that no one forgets her.
Cindy Dempsey and many in the crowd were still processing what they'd seen and heard earlier this week.
Horror, grief, outrage, and just disbelief that this is happening in our cities, that it's so unnecessary that somebody lost their life. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a wife.
She says what followed only deepened the pain.
And then to see how lies were told about the way she died, and then to discredit her and to call her names that are totally false was just to, build on the rage that we are all feeling.
The visual was organized in just days, intentionally blending mourning with action.
We wanted it to be a candlelight vigil because we wanted it to have the tone of sadness along with anger.
There will and there must be justice.
Speakers, prayer, singing, and then a march, all meant to bring people together.
There's something about community because people are feeling it individually, and when you come together, it's coping to know that others share the same feelings.
And Dempsey says that this won't be the last time people get...
You know, it kind of reminds me when people are saying, hey, ICE, get the F out, get out, like that. You know, remember back in the 80s when Russia, or USSR back in the day, was invading Afghanistan? If you watch the movie Miracle, there's a part where they're playing the garden like that and playing Russia like that. Someone flipped the sign and said, hey, Russia, get the puck out of Afghanistan. That's what we're just like today, Hey, get the fluke out of our city and neighborhood. We don't want you.
They're going to continue, and we will see that. And it's a way to keep her name alive because she was a real person, and we want to honor that.
Organizers say demonstrations will continue in the days ahead. Russ.
Okay, my award in the newsroom. Thank you.
Vice President J.D. Vance said that the ICE officer who fatally shot Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis is protected by absolute immunity. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey pushed back on Vance's statement that has also drawn scrutiny from other legal experts.
Federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action, that's a federal issue. That guy's protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job.
I think he also asserted that because you work at the federal government that you somehow have.
Plus, you got this stupid Trump administration, especially with J.D. Vance. They're calling Jonathon Ross a hero. Are you kidding me?
Of absolute immunity from committing crimes. That's not true in any law school in America, whether it's Yale or Villanova or anywhere else. That's not true. If you break the law, if you do things that are outside the area of what your job responsibilities require, and this clearly seems to be at the very least, this is great. At the most is what you heard people say back here. This is a problem and it should be investigated.
Of course, we'll continue to follow this developing story with the latest from protests in Minneapolis.
And vigils across the country, including here in Denver. 9 News reporter Rhea Jha joins us from downtown, where one of those protests took place outside the Capitol. Rhea?
Yeah, although there's no protesters left here, they marched through downtown, ended up at Union Station. It started around 6 p.m. earlier tonight. A pretty good-sized crowd gathered here in front of the Capitol with signs and chants criticizing ICE and the federal government's handling over the Minneapolis shooting. On Friday night, people in Denver set aside their weekend plans because they felt like they had to.
People in Minneapolis were out protesting in freezing rain, so the least we can do is to come out in a little bit of cold.
Protesting in solidarity after the killing of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis.
If we silently endorse this kind of behavior, who knows where it will stop? And that's why I felt like a responsibility that I had to be here.
People showing up at the Capitol because of what they see as a growing threat from federal immigration enforcement.
We're not trusting the process
process that the government has started to pursue with limiting the investigation to just the FBI and not using the local justice system in the state of Minnesota.
After finding out Renee Good grew up in Colorado, it felt a little more personal for the people here.
It definitely hit close to home because I am a Coloradan myself.
Protests like this happening across the state this weekend and across the country. Earlier Friday afternoon, people in Arvada took their message to the streets.
And I think it's inspired a lot of fury within our community and within us as organizers, and we want to do something about it.
We can make a difference when we speak up. I really believe we can.
So really it's about coming together as a state and showing, hey, Colorado as a whole is not okay with what ICE is doing.
Upside down flag is a distress signal for like save me, and our country's in distress right now. Just look at it.
It's a message that's twofold.
The message we're trying to send is to the people of Minneapolis that we're with you and we stand with you and you're doing the right things. And the message for ICE is stay the heck out of Denver because we don't want you here.
A message worth their Friday nights. Organizers say this is not the last time people will show up like this, with demonstrations planned tomorrow in Boulder and another one in Centennial outside the ICE facility on Sunday, and plenty more across the country this weekend. Reporting live in the Capitol, Rhea Cha.
The perspective of the ICE agents in the deadly Minneapolis confrontation this week. The footage and reactions to it have sparked protests and fresh debate about what happened and how it's being handled. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel in studio with a step-by-step breakdown. Casey.
Hi, Clarice. Today we are seeing the agents' own footage, a new perspective on what happened in the moments before shots were fired. We walked through that video and another making the rounds on social media with a retired U.S. Marshal to help break down what we are and are not seeing. The newest clip begins as the agent walks up to a maroon SUV. You can hear sirens as he moves around the vehicle. Inside, a dog is seen in the back seat, and the woman behind the wheel, Renee Good, speaks to the agent calmly.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
The agent moves to the rear to check license plates, all as the victim's wife is filming and then begins to taunt.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
Just from a quick glance, the way that things happen very quickly, these guys, they were just in a bad position.
To help understand the now viral video, Fox 4 analyzed the footage with the help of Brian Bishop, a retired U.S. Marshal who now trains law enforcement. Bishop says from what he's observed, those on scene were acting in accordance to policy.
We do strategically place ourselves in positions when we work with each other where we don't create crossfires, we don't create more issues, and then where, one has a better view on the driver than the other, it's just multiple views. I don't think his intention was to put himself in an unsafe spot.
Then, about 30 seconds after it all started,
Get out of the mall.
the camera pans up and you hear gunshots. It marries up with this video circulating online showing a wider angle. You can see Good putting the vehicle in drive before she's shot. Bishop says, tragic, of course, but they still had a duty to protect themselves, a sentiment that's also been echoed by the White House.
I don't think people understand in these situations like this how quickly something happens, and you have to make a decision.
But critics of law enforcement say Renee Good's death could have been prevented.
That violent act did not happen in a vacuum. It happened in a political moment where ICE has been emboldened.
Minnesota leaders say they'll continue fighting to take part in a state-level investigation, despite being shut out by the feds.
This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them.
And so federal investigators say that they are still reviewing all of the video and they're interviewing every officer that was involved. So far, no charges have been announced, Clarice.
Casey, thank you.
37-year-old Renee Good of impeding agents' work that morning. As we work to learn more about that, the agent's video reveals his interaction with Good and her wife before the shooting. Callan Gray explains how far their rights protect them in a situation like this? Callan.
Lindsay, for the first time today, we're hearing from Renee Good's wife, Becca, who says on Wednesday, quote, "We stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns." Some city leaders have called Good an observer that day. We asked experts today about the rights of ICE operation witnesses. Footage captured by an ICE agent.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
Adds new perspective.
That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning.
And context to the moments leading up to the agent firing his weapon, killing Renee Good. Other angles provided by witnesses. In recent weeks, people telling us at immigration enforcement operations, they're there to observe. Organizations even offering training on how to document safely. Do citizen observers have the same legal rights or different rights from other people who show up to demonstrate?
They have the same rights.
The legal observer likely has a different role in the protest. They are often not involved in the protest itself. They're simply there to watch.
Two legal experts tell us any person has the right to stand in a public place and record what they see, shout, and even heckle. Is there a line that demonstrators can't cross when they are documenting what's happening in front of them?
The First Amendment does not protect violence. It does not protect damage to property.
What you cannot do is threaten them in a context that would be deemed to be what's called a true threat, which is imminent lawless action.
Law professors Jane Kirtley from the University of Minnesota and Rachel Moran from the University of St. Thomas School of Law tell us demonstrators cannot interfere or obstruct government actions.
Go get yourself some lunch.
Both reviewed the video released Friday.
I did not hear anything in the most recently released recording that would suggest that there was any speech there that would not be protected by the First Amendment.
A lot of context that's not totally clear from the video that I would want to know before I drew any conclusions about the legality of essentially everyone participating in this.
Moran says the footage we've seen so far still leaves out important context about the lead up to this shooting. Right now, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office is asking for the public to submit evidence. We just reached out again to see how many submissions have been made so far, but have not heard back, Lindsay. All right, Callan, thank you.
All right, here we go. Bonus video.
Since our last update surrounding the horrific shooting of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, who was shot and killed by ICE in Minnesota. We now have the agent's identity as well as a New York Times forensic analysis of the shooting. Let's play A1.
New video tonight. This is some of it. It is grainy, difficult to see. It could provide, certainly provides another angle on what happened before a 37-year-old Minneapolis mom was shot and killed by an ICE officer shortly after dropping her 6-year-old off at school.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range. Here's how events unfolded. Moments before the shooting, the victim's maroon SUV is stopped in the middle of the street. Multiple unmarked federal vehicles are idling nearby. Secretary Noem alleged the motorist, quote, was blocking the officers in. Bystanders are blowing whistles and yelling at federal agents.
Go home to Texas!
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the maroon SUV, with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone. The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then stops and waves for others to go ahead. 2 agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired.
Yeah, there you have it. You witness now from multiple angles. Another new angle came out today from the officer's own body camera footage. Another angle I just saw show the clear distance between the vehicle and the officer who the president of the United States claimed was run over and almost killed, which is just a complete lie. Minnesota investigators have also now been barred from taking part in the probe into the fatal ICE shooting. The head of Minnesota's state investigations agency, and there is is good on screen right there. The head of Minnesota State Investigations Agency said Thursday that the U.S. Attorney's Office has barred it from taking part in the investigation into an ICE officer's fatal shooting of a Minneapolis woman. Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans said in a statement that after the agency consulted with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the FBI following the Wednesday shooting of 37-year-old mother of three, Renee Nicole Macklin Good, quote, it was decided that the BCA Force Investigations Unit would conduct a joint investigation with the FBI, and that the BCA responded promptly to the scene and began coordinating investigative work in good faith. Vice President Vance, however, early yesterday morning, called the woman a deranged leftist. This is how the vice president responded in a press conference.
On duty, or has he been placed on leave, on administrative leave? And what really was the target of the operation on Wednesday? Of the ICE operation on Wednesday?
Well, first of all, it was a legitimate law enforcement operation. We were going door to door to try to find criminal illegal aliens and deport them from the United States of America, because if you come to our country illegally in violation of our immigration laws, then we have the mandate, and in fact, we have the legal duty to enforce those immigration laws. Whether he's been placed on administrative leave, I don't know the answer to that question. I'd refer it to the Department of Homeland Security, and they can follow up. I will say, look, I would appreciate everybody saying a prayer for that agent. Look, in the past 6 months, he has been hit twice by a motor vehicle.
Say a prayer for the agent? Fuck that. You should be saying a prayer.
I don't know what timeline we're living in. We're living in a bizarro world.
They're white.
It's a very strange time. Just the full-on government propaganda being deployed in unison, in real time, by people who do not care about the truth. They simply care only about pushing their slanted, biased, and very often racist agenda on the American public. They just go unfettered, unchecked, and I guess it's our duty as citizens to check them in moments like this. Here's what we know about the shooter's identity, presented by TYT contributor Jordan Ewell via The Intercept.
Jonathon Ross. His name is Jonathon Ross. The ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good in Minneapolis this week was identified on Thursday. The Intercept found a photo on Facebook that showed he served in Iraq, which had many people, again, pointing out the war always comes home. Last June, he was involved in another incident where he was dragged by a car, and that allowed reporters at The Intercept and elsewhere to figure out who he was. Even though we know who pulled the trigger, there's reason to be concerned about where this investigation could be headed, because the FBI is blocking Minnesota state law enforcement from participating in the investigation. This has community activists understandably upset. A member of their community is now dead. And in any other circumstance, a full investigation seems like the next logical step, but not the case here, because Kristi Noem said at a press conference on Thursday that they expect they will find in their investigation that he followed their guidelines.
Yeah, which he did not. Any law enforcement officer will tell you that you don't have the right to shoot somebody trying to flee. You do not have the right to shoot somebody in a vehicle unless they have another weapon in addition to the vehicle, unless they are trying to kill you, which it is incredibly clear with the 3 miles an hour that Ms. Good was driving away at while turning to the right away from the officer, who we've all had a car leaving come that close to us. I mean, you literally could bang the hood. You could have this idea, step out of the way. It takes more time to shoot into a window than it does to step out of the way of the car. He was probably putting himself more in harm's way by not just stepping deeply back, which you see again from many angles. He was not near the car when it turned. He was near, but he wasn't near. He was near it, but he was not in front of it. He was not hit by it. There was no threat to this man's life, but he did take the life of another. Jonathon Ross, the ICE agent's father, Ed Ross, defended his son and predicted he would be charged with nothing. The FBI is currently in charge of the investigation, with local investigators withdrawing from the case reluctantly after being denied access to evidence. The father said, quote, he's a committed conservative Christian, a tremendous father, a tremendous husband. I couldn't be more proud of him. Close quote. According to the reports, Jonathon Ross has been married to a Filipino wife who is a U.S. citizen, but it is unknown for how long, since 2012. His in-laws are doctors in the Philippines. Ross is also an Iraq war veteran who has worked with ICE since 2013. He is a member of a tactical unit called the ICE ERO Special Response Team. According to Good's ex-husband, Renee was not an activist. She had just dropped her young son off at school before the deadly ICE shooting. But you know how it is when moms drop kids off. They're dangerous and you got to take action. That's the mandate in America.
Yeah, I guess people exercise freedom of speech.
Speaking to the Associated Press on Thursday, Good's former husband, who declined to be identified for the safety of their children, said his former wife was not an activist and had never, to his knowledge, even attended a protest. Her mother, Donna Ganger, told the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that her daughter is, quote, one of the kindest people I've ever known. On Thursday, Vice President J.D. Vance said she was part of, quote, a broader left-wing network to attack and to dox and to assault and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their jobs. I'd like to point out that the administration running our country...
Well, it's almost like the same people that go around saying when I'm doing cop watching or exposing dirty cops, oh, no, CMA, you're stalking or harassing those fine police officers that are trying to do the job. They're doing God's work. They're heroes. You need to just leave them alone and back to blue. Yeah, that's what police apologists and ICE sympathizers say.
And the world right now continues to just out of thin air make up these invisible and imaginary left-wing organizations. It's Antifa. Where are they located? Who are their offices? Who are their leaders? We don't know. We have no idea. We're just saying that so we can control the populace and scare you through the real domestic terrorism, which is the wanton murder of American citizens by the President of the United States and his thugs. A broader left-wing network. Who? A mom dropping her kid off at school? This is who you're afraid of? It's really disgusting. It's really, really gross, and it's very stupid. And it makes you look very weak and soft. Bunch of cucks in this administration just straight up murdering people because they're afraid of school moms.
They don't like their First Amendment.
Vice President J.D. Vance wrongly claimed Thursday that the ICE agent who shot and killed Minneapolis poet and mother Renee Good is protected by, quote, absolute immunity. Not a thing that is in any way what ICE agents are protected by. But again, who cares about facts when you can just make stuff up and people swallow it whole? That's nice. Vance answered, quote, the precedent is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. He's protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. He was not. There is no absolute immunity for ICE agents. That is a lie, one of many from the administration. There's more. I'd like to check in mid-story here with Tehran for your thoughts because there's too much already to comment on. Tehran.
Well, obviously, first of all, and first and foremost, my prayers and condolences to the family of Renee Nicole Good. 37-year-old mother, dropped her child off at school, ended up murdered by ICE immigration officer Jonathon Ross, who, and to his defense, was a conservative Christian. And to her dismissal, she was a leftist Democrat. That is not how this country works. We should not be having to defend her character whatsoever. It should not matter if she was an activist or not. In fact, if she had been an activist and had attended protests and then was murdered, that would be retaliation. That would actually be even higher than the murder itself, because that is not how this country works. This country works that all people are created equal, that we all are entitled to liberty and justice equally for all. And this is not how this country is supposed to work. You ask, where are we doing? What are we watching? We are literally watching Man in the High Castle, Season 4, Episode 14. That is what we're watching right now. A woman was murdered in cold blood in the street. Now, should she have listened to an immigration officer? Sure. Was she an immigrant, an illegal immigrant? Was she any of the above? Is that what these ICE agents are supposed to be doing? Think about it this way. This is a slippery slope. If they can do it to Renee Nicole Good, what can they do to you? This is tyranny at its finest. Please be aware. Do not take this very lightly. This is how it always starts.
Well, I think it's crazy too. You know, some people say, well, sometimes it's better to comply with anybody who's a law enforcement for the city, the county, or a federal law enforcement officer. Sometimes it's better to comply. But it's so outrageous when you're standing up for your rights, and you're trying to comply, but stand up for your rights. You're not trying to succumb to their tyranny. You're standing up for rights. Then you got cops who want to fabricate charges, solicit trespasses, or to the point if they'll feel threatened or, quote, they're fear for their life and all that officer safety, they have to pull out a gun and play quick withdraw McGraw on you. I mean, it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
Push and push until it's all collapsed. And then we'll be sitting there wondering why, when we could have stopped it now.
Yeah, 100% well said. Plus, it doesn't even matter when it comes to human rights and common humanity if she was an illegal immigrant. Yes, we should enforce our laws and protect our borders. We can do so without becoming monsters. We can do so without abandoning our values. We can deport people who should not be here. We can do that by enforcing our laws without turning into murderers.
But that's the thing, Ben. Honestly, the brutality is part of their plan. I've seen this playbook. It's happening right now in Iran. It was happening in Venezuela. That brutality is part of the plan. You don't have to do a lot when you can control the masses simply through fear. By being extremely aggressive and brutal. President Obama deported more illegal immigrants from this country than any other president in history. Yeah. Why are the same people who are for deporting illegal immigrants not supporting him then? Why are they not praising that of him? Why do they use that against him? The point of it is how it was done. We did not see images of people in cages. We did not see people being shot and gunned down in the streets. What I'm saying is we need to do this responsibly, and we all need to be aware. This doesn't just affect illegal immigrants. It affects all of us. What we often do is go, well, this is not my problem. Yes, this is a problem. Yes, this is all of our problems.
This is all of our
Absolutely. And yes, of course, you should follow the orders of law enforcement, and it's a very dangerous thing to not do so. At the same time, when there's...
And this is what I've been talking about dirty policing and ICE agents out there. I mean, this is stuff that affects us directly on a daily basis. You know, like Jewish stuff and tribe, it doesn't affect us directly. This is the stuff that affects us directly in an everyday lively situation. I mean, it could have been one of us that could have been unalive and snuffed out by a rogue ICE agent. Didn't you have the Trump administration was to double down just to back up and call her our sovereign citizen and domestic terrorist? Are you kidding me? That's crazy.
Chaotic deployments of undertrained people who are circling a car, giving conflicting agreements. Some saying back up, some saying move forward, some saying get out of the car. The guy who fired the weapon filming on his own iPhone. This is a chaotic, insane environment that is being deployed on American citizens. This is not law enforcement doing its work in a way that is rational or reasonable. It's chaos, and you can't follow orders from chaos. If you're familiar at all with chaos, it's sort of the nature of the word. It's you don't know what to make of it, and any human being is going to be in a bit of a tailspin when that happens. But at least we've got some reasonable minds, some American figures who we respect deeply who are weighing in on this. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's Kyle Rittenhouse chiming in. Kyle Rittenhouse was quick to speak out, of course. Quote, FAFO, that's F around and find out. Don't try and hit an ICE agent with your vehicle and you won't end up in the forever box, he called it. It's pretty simple.
This is coming from
After thinking about it, he continued, should I travel across the state line to Minnesota? He asked his followers, adding a laughing emoji for good measure. What a piece of garbage.
He is a piece of garbage. And that
kid is.
Garbage should be breathing the same air.
Laughing about the fact that he actually also killed people without even law enforcement training, but just taking the law into his own hands. Remember when he was in the witness box crying his eyes out? I had no choice, but I had to. And now you're saying, should I go? Because they're effing around and finding out? Ha 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 ha. It's funny how different you are when you're not on trial, but instead are just mocking the horrible taking of an American citizen's life. What a piece of garbage. And the right wing in this country welcoming this boy as a hero with fireworks and pyrotechnics on stage when he appears at conservative conferences, like he did something good other than shoot people for no reason. It's so disgusting. This place we're living in, Kristi Noem going and doing press conferences right after this murder happens, wearing a ridiculous cowboy hat she's never worn, covering her eyes so you can't see her facial expressions, cosplaying as some kind of badass, cosplaying as some kind of tough person, straight up lying about the facts of the murder of an American citizen in cold blood and broad daylight for no damn reason whatsoever, calling Michelle Good a
Renee Good
domestic terrorist, calling Renee, I'm sorry, Good
a domestic terrorist,
a domestic terrorist. I'm worked up about this. This is insane. Just devaluing the power of our words. A domestic terrorist? Dropping your kid off at school? What world are we living in? It's insane.
What were we
This is
living
what
in?
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett had to say.
A constitutionally protected activity?
It is so hard to sit here sometimes because I didn't come to Congress to write laws or to do things that are hurting people. I'm just asking if there's any decency or heart or courage on that side of the aisle. The fact that a woman was killed, she was shot in her head, and y'all are pretending like nothing happened. I remember when Charlie Kirk got killed. Do you? Do you remember what our response was? Our response wasn't to sit there and pretend like it was okay.
Yeah, remember when Charlie Kirk was unalive and Well, I mean, remember all the football stadiums were, remember Charlie Kirk and basketball, hockey. And we're talking about, remember at one time the Trump administration, the legislature wanted to have a holiday for Charlie Kirk. Not saying Charlie Kirk is a bad person, but he's kind of a political nut, bad. But they want to have a national holiday. But the same token, here's the same legislation that wants to brush Renee Good on the rug, like nothing here, like the Epstein files, nothing to see here. Let's just brush it on the rug. It'll go away. Crazy.
Yeah, very well said.
Yeah,
and very true. And to be fair, there were definitely those on the left that were celebrating Kirk's death, and those people were idiots and wrong and immoral, and should be condemned and were condemned. I knew Charlie Kirk. I debated Charlie Kirk. The moment I heard of his shooting, I condemned it. I prayed for him to make it through, and I found out he was murdered. I was so sad for so many days after this. It's still a horrible thing to witness somebody that I personally knew being assassinated. But for some in this country, political party, political affiliation means more than humanity. It's so disgusting, and you see time and again, people on the right, more often than not, and the extreme on the left should be condemned equally for the exact same thing. Celebrating assassination, celebrating murder in cold blood. The comments on the video clearly showing this woman not trying to kill anybody, just trying to drive away, saying, I don't care about her, but oh, there's a dog in the car. I hope the dog is okay. You don't care about the human being? The ICE officers themselves not allowing a physician access to her after she was shot in the face, saying, I don't care if you're a physician? Who are we? What has this country become? It's become disgusting. In moments like this, in ways like this, it's become disgusting. And we have to stand up and be better than that and take our country back. If we do not stand up for what is right, then we are no better. One Department of Homeland Security officer was seen kicking vigil candles for good. Take a look.
Take a look at this.
Really? Huh? That's what you're going to do? What? Do you know what that is for? What is that for? What is that for? What is that for? You're going to push me? What is that for?
Good guys right there. Techron,
I mean, that's actually purely disgusting. It really is. I mean, you got like I said, you got the police apologists and ICE sympathizers always trying to tell us, we should show them respect. We need to honor. They're the real hero. We need to show respect to them. When you got cops and ICE disrespect us, come on. Remember when Daniel Otter was mocking the death of Janabi Kandula, a Native Indian student, was trying to make a name for herself? He was mocking her death, saying, laughing about, she's dead. She's already dead. Oh, just write a check for $11,000 and joke around. James Freeman said it best. Yeah, he was joking around, but he was speaking the truth. Police officers, ICE don't care about your life. Wake the F up, people. Pull your head out of your butt. Let the brain cells breathe for a minute. Realize ICE and police officers are not your friends. They are your enemy. We should never engage with the enemy and you'll kick it with them. They don't care about your life. They don't value nothing. The fact that cop was kicking a candle for salute for Renee Good, just like Daniel Otter mocking, saying, Janana Kandula is right there, $11,000. That's where she work. Yeah. Cops have the attitude like think they're so special. I mean, you got ICE agents go around, they think they're worth more than a Mickey Mouse rookie card. You got cops out there acting like, I'm worth more than a Mark McGwire or King Griffey Jr. rookie card, baseball card, or a Wayne Gretzky hockey card. It's crazy. And you're what? You're worth like 50 cents. Nuts for there's like, you're the only thing you're worth for is the daily paper that costs $1. Crazy out there.
Any last thoughts on this?
Well, first of all, I definitely agree with your sentiment on Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know why that person is talking. Remember when they used to tell LeBron to just shut up and dribble?
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle Rittenhouse, why don't you shut up and graduate high school or whatever it is that you haven't done? I don't understand why you're still in the public eye and you become this icon. And remember, for what? For murdering people in the streets. That's literally what you did. And you were able to claim self-defense sardonically somehow in the law system. That worked in this case. I wonder if it would work the other way around. If it was a White Lives Matter rally and Jamal Rittenhouse went there and shot up a couple protesters, how that would have played out. Maybe a little differently in the court system. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk, this is a man I did not know. And I thought a lot of things he said was abhorrent. And yet I was sad for a number of days after his death because of other reasons. I did not need to know him to understand that his death was in disgust and poor taste and was actually absolutely immoral. That is not how this country works. If you do not believe in the freedom of speech for those you disdain, then you do not believe in the freedom of speech. This whole left-right ideology that has become the Bloods and Crips of this gang war that the government thinks that it's leading is absolutely disgusting. That is not how this country works. Right wing, left wing, same bird. We are all on the same ship. You're supposed to be the...
Oh, yeah, remember he was talking about, LeBron did, remember when all this stuff was going on about, the George Floyd and all this stuff like that? Remember when... all these killing, like Dante Wright, Breonna Taylor, all that stuff like that. Oh, yeah, and the biggest one, Tyre Nichols. Remember when Tyre Nichols got unalived by 6 Memphis cops and they got acquitted like that? The WNBA was on protest, and everybody's telling all these women, like, shut up and play. Just shut up and play. Like, they always talk about how sports athletes have no place in politics. Their job is to go out there and perform for us. And we pay their salary. They should just go out there and play and contribute. They have no brooding like that. I mean, they're a good athlete. Where's the inner politics out? Bill Walton's an advocate in politics in the 70s and 80s. Irvin Magic Johnson was big like that. Kareem Jabbar wasn't like that. Michael Jordan got a little bit of politics, but big time. Yeah, supposedly that he was standing for the rights of people, and he didn't want to wear Reebok's merchandise at the Olympics back in the 90s. That's standing for political. And LeBron James was standing up for tyrant bad police in America by George Floyd, Dante Wright, Breonna Taylor, and Tyre Nichols. And then you got people around here, the police sympathizers, ICE apologists, like, you need to shut up and go away, see, man, just go away. Shut up and back to blue, rest of it. Only blue lives matter. Just leave ICE and police officers alone. They're doing God's work. They're the real heroes in the country.
President for everybody, not just the people who agree with you. So we're looking at the demise. And if you see that Homeland Security agent kicking over visual candles, just remember what they're doing. This is in honor of a person who was murdered for whatever the reason is. That is a mother, that is a wife, that is a partner, that is a human being, someone's daughter, and you're kicking over candles and then stepping up and telling another citizen to move back, being a bully. This is how it starts. We have all seen this movie. It does not end well for us.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see how it unfolds. Hopefully we have better minds, more rational minds prevail, and we stand up for something.
I don't know anymore, Ben. I don't know if we're going to have rational minds. I'm actually losing hope.
You know, like you always say, it's all a call for an uprising. Yeah. I mean, at the point of this is right. I mean, we're what? We're only 9 days into 26. And it seems like it's already worse already now than was all last year. I just think by end of 2026, 2027, I think all we are is going to be the product of the system and the pussification of America. We're just going to be numbers and slaves to the government, legislation, and ICE and police on that. That's what Donald Trump wants it. He wants to make it the point where no American has rights at all. That we're just slaves to the system. That's what's come down to.
I am watching this world collapse. This is all the breadcrumbs of chaos, anarchy, civil war, whatever you want to put it in. This is how this starts.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is definitely a scary moment. This is definitely a scary time. And the instinct, or just the feeling, not an instinct, but to lose hope at times like this for sure is understandable. But that's exactly when you have to double down. That's when I hope people double down, protest, speak out, and say that this is not us. Because if we get jaded about it, if we get blasé about it, if we allow the Steve Bannon, Stephen Miller philosophy of them flooding the zone with so much garbage and chaos and disgusting activity that we just become desensitized and give up hope and let them do it, that's exactly when we lose the country. And I'm sure people in Iran, you know, I know you're Iranian, people in Iran probably have had moments of giving up hope over the years of such an oppressive regime, but you see them all of a sudden now rising up in the streets as well. And it's never too late to stand up. And
yep, it sure is. Here, I got a little bonus clip for you. This was a bonus clip, but we got something more for the bonus right here. I've already ready to go. Okay. Turn this up a little bit. All right, there we go. And this is what I say. I played this before a couple times, but let's play it one more time. I'm fired up, ready to go. This is what the Trump administration, these leftist nut jobs, are trying to tell people to do.
Rhetoric must end. Stop demonizing hardworking law enforcement. They are brave. They are doing God's work. They are protecting people who could lose their life in any given city at any given time. Stop demonizing them. They are heroes.
This is a little different.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I'm out here, much. Peace out.